Greetings and welcome to an Equity.Guru investor roundtable. Come on, wave everybody. Come on, Cam, you got to wave too. Hey. We've got a dandy for you today. It's called Kontrol Technologies with a K.
Yep.
Kontrol. And it's KNR, the NEO exchange. They are headquartered in Vaughan, Ontario, and Paul Gezzi is the CEO. If I'm saying that correctly, it's Ghezzi. And this is an interesting group. Let me tell you their slogan, and then Vishal will tell you what you need to know. Leading the digital transformation of buildings and the built environment. What does that mean exactly?
So, Rob and guys, if you're big into smart cities, smart buildings, autonomous buildings, I think this is the company for you. Basically, the aim of this company is to integrate smart energy devices, energy software, energy retrofits, basically help companies, organizations. We'll show you a list of some companies that are part of or has a partnership with Kontrol, because there's quite a large variety, even some sports teams as well. But basically, for all these corporations or organizations to benefit from energy cost savings while basically minimizing greenhouse gas emissions. We know in the future governments are going to be trying to tackle the greenhouse emissions issue, and carbon credits is already a big thing. So I don't really think they're going to go around tearing buildings down and rebuilding them up again. But then again, maybe government will do that. But it's much more likely they're going to be, retrofitting and looking for technology to help out and basically create these sustainable buildings. And that's also their slogan: smart, healthy, and sustainable buildings. Doing so all with the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. There's also one other area here, and it's Kontrol Technologies BioCloud technology, which is, you can see here, expanding into Japan recently. They have units to Qatar and the Czech Republic. And what this is it's not a medical device. So that's something we should mention, but it is a technology that can be implemented in buildings that can actually find out if there's any viruses or what's another word for it, I guess, basically dangerous elements in the air. And, in this day and age, with what's going on with COVID, I think that's a really smart play. And if this is something we're going to be dealing with some time, then, things like BioCloud would be great for organizations that are trying to protect their employees and customers and stakeholders as a whole. And earlier I mentioned Wolfsburg. Well, I mentioned a football team. I mean the European kind, right? So there's a team called VfL Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga in Germany that is actually partnering with Kontrol Technologies to use their BioCloud technology in their building. And I think that is a really cool element. Once again, it's not a medical device. It is a technology. However, recent catalyst that is going to be likely coming up this month in February is Health Canada's study of this device, and hopefully we'll hear results. Again, it's not under the control of the company. It's basically these government agencies wanted to do a test, and I think that's a catalyst we have looking forward to.
Galen, any thoughts on Kontrol with a K?
Yeah, actually, it's been doing pretty well as far as the company is concerned in regards to business and such. As Vishal stated, it's IoT, Internet of Things, basically transposing itself over to manipulating and monitoring and also analyzing the data that it's picked up in order to control water flow, energy use, the HVAC, every aspect within a building that has a sort of a cost overrun. You're looking at buildings losing approximately $60 billion a year in energy losses. That would be water overflow, leaks and such. They started off basically as a residential thing and more or less to check water flow. But because of that technology, they've been able to branch themselves out to do a bunch of other things, which is, I think, the really big kicker for this company. As Vishal had stated, the buildings that we have right now in the next 30 years, they're not going anywhere. So knocking down and starting from scratch is most likely not an alternative. The ability, the aim for any of these people to sort of get up to speed with the zero carbon emissions and efficiency standards that we're putting out. The best thing is to retrofit and is to make that as cost effective as possible. And this is what this company is providing: a cloud-based service that you can go through to a porthole and actually operate through mobile devices to adjust energy, all that kind of lovely stuff, and see where your company sits on a day-to-day basis. The other thing about this company is that it is providing this air quality. And this seems to be now, or air quality detection. And this seems to be right now. Yeah, that's no problem. But that seems to be where their focus is at this point, and not necessarily focus, but where their cash is probably going to start to be really generated at this point. The other stuff can actually just ride on top of this. Air quality is especially important considering what we're going through today with pandemics and such, but also air quality in and of itself. Is there asbestos in the air? Is a high dust count? All sorts of things that we've never really monitored before that actually affect the productivity of the people inside the building and their health, which has a further cost down the road on the economy and also on the business. So this allows them to shore up themselves in an even bigger way. And Kontrol has really been making some inroads into this space by signing these deals that got them into Qatar, and also most recently they announced January, I think the middle of January, that they made it into Japan. With a very large trading company that has a huge influence in the HVAC structure and development and construction in the country. Of course, it's so big they can't mention the name, which is just fine because that means they're actually doing some business. Speaking of, the company actually has some cash in the till. They've got about $5 million in as of the end of September. They also have made, in terms of revenue, they brought in $21 million, which is pretty good, and ended up with a gross profit of approximately $5.7 million, and ended up with a net profit of, which is odd for a company of this technical sort of groundbreaking kind of sector. They actually made a profit. They're $2 million in the black, and they have like $24 million in accounts receivable. So this company is financially set for what it's doing. It's making all the right partnerships, and is due to expand, I think, both organically and inorganically with tactical acquisitions on top of just gaining customer base. I really like what this is. It offers a necessary service for a problem that we're experiencing right now. It's not a solution in search of a problem. They actually have made a really good offering for what we really need. So I see this company heading places in a much larger sense. And because it's relatively unsexy, I have a feeling that this revenue and income will be steady. We'll be talking not just businesses doing their buildings, but we're talking about government agencies. We're talking about communities. These contracts, once they're sold, are very long-term and assured revenue. So I like what I see. This company is operating in the black. They got a lot of stuff on the books that's due to come in terms of revenue, and they've actually made revenue, and basically have really jumped up their revenue and their profits from even the last quarter. So you can see a lot of growth happening for this company, and I think won't just be short term. We can look all the way down the road on this one and see not necessarily the growth of a juggernaut, but of somebody that's going to be one of the major contributors within this whole sector.
Yeah. I think it's important to also mention, we mentioned the Health Canada study, but we should also mention that the National Research Council of Canada and the Ontario government partially funded the controlled BioCloud air technology or air sampling pump. So I think it's a important thing to mention that as well. Obviously, as Galen said, it's a lot of focus is on this because of current events, and continuous airborne viral detection is going to be going forward.
Do you have an quick opinion on NEO? In other words, would you rather see this company somewhere else on a different exchange, or does it matter to you?
Well, at this point, I think it's just looking for Canadian exposure, and it was probably the
Exactly.
quickest way for it to get on it, because
Exactly.
currently
Yeah.
it's trading on the OTC markets in the States, is from
In the
what I
States.
understand, and
Yeah.
it needs to get off of those markets to a certain extent. It can be in them, but it really needs a presence on an exchange, and I think this offered the easiest and quickest way for it to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Neo, but whatever. It's an exchange, and
Right.
you
Right.
can still invest in it. It's not really all that different from any other exchange, other than its newness.
All
I
right,
mean, we could say the
Michelle.
same thing about CSE being a cannabis exchange,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it's matured beyond that.
Right. All right, then. How are they doing on the old chart skis there, bud?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Earlier today, actually, when I looked at the company, today's candle, so you can see here it's actually red, but it was at one time green. It was actually a full nice green body here up at 181, but as you can see, we actually sold off and closed at 168. And I think this is more of a technical thing, and I'll do my best here to explain what I'm thinking on Kontrol Technologies here. But let's go back basically mid 2021, where we had this breakout here in September, and essentially we've just been ranging basically between nice numbers though, $2, nice round numbers, nothing too complicated, but between $2 here up to $3, we were just in a range. Whenever we fell down to $2, the buyers would step in, bring the price a bit higher. Whenever price would come back down to $2, the buyers would step in once again, bring the price up to $3. We tried to break out in November, no luck there, and the stock continued to fall. And then we saw buyers once again step in here. Actually, earlier this year, on January 5th of 2022, when we came back to test the $2 level here, a very nice, strong engulfing candle here, big green candle, which basically, engulfs the body of the previous candle. This is usually a very bullish pattern, especially when it's in a downtrend and also in a support zone. And you can see it happen here as well, another engulfing candle right there. But unfortunately, it didn't take off. And I think a lot of that has to do mostly with, the overall stock market weakness we've had. We've seen a lot of small caps get hit. Obviously, not just on the Canadian side, but on the American side as well. And we dumped. We actually broke below that support, which was basically being held since September of 2021 here. We finally broke that support on the 20th of January. And you guys know how I sort of approach support and resistance breaks, or basically, price floors and price ceilings. But basically, I always like to, well, I want to see either that retest, because there's two ways a breakdown can occur. We generally pull back to retest what used to be the price floor, and it's another opportunity for basically sellers to jump in and drag the price, down again. And maybe that's what we're sort of seeing right now, given today's candle here with the red. We got, not really close to $2, but we were up at $2 actually on the 26th of January at $1.90, and maybe some sellers came in and went short when we pulled back to retest. So I'm just watching this zone here because right now it's nothing bullish in my opinion just yet. There might be another leg taking us lower, and I would get worried if, say, tomorrow or the day after or sometime this week we get a close below this body here at $1.65. If that's the case, the next support level is here at our big $1 level. So that might be something to watch out for. However, as we're recording this, the stock markets actually, the large cap markets, actually the Russell as well, but they've had a nice day today. So we'll see what happens following in the following days, because maybe I'm not saying I'm fully bullish on the markets just yet. We actually just closed at a resistance level. So I think in the next day it'll be confirmed to me whether markets have neutralized the downtrend. But if they have, then I believe the markets will continue to move higher, and some of these small caps should follow. So what I would want to see is the second case, which I didn't go over, and that is when we do pull back to retest, we actually, instead of seeing sellers reject and bring us back down to $1, we actually take out maybe the selling pressure that's here at $2, basically the bulls beat out the bears. We get our close above $2, and then from there we're back in the safe zone where we can maybe make a run up to $3, and then much higher, $4 if we do break above three in the longer term or in 2020. Hopefully, and I think the exciting part is that we technically have a catalyst that's supposedly coming this month, and that is that Health Canada study on the BioCloud. So that's a catalyst to look forward to in this month, and that could be very well, the news that could get the stock either popping and breaking above $2 with a further momentum higher, or seeing our drop down to the $1 zone.
Great. And let's see what Chris thinks.
Oh, he loves it. He's grinning like a Cheshire cat.
He is, isn't he?
Yep.
He'll be back for our next 3 roundtables, tied up today with business. All right, gents, you got $7,500 of my cash, and Galen always loves to throw all of it in for Chris when he's not here, so we'll put him down for that.
We kind of know what he's going to do already. Yeah, I like the company. I think they're actually doing business, and they have a relatively solid bottom line. The fundamentals are strong. Another beautiful thing, it looks like they only have like 30 million shares or 39 million shares outstanding. That's a pretty tight share count considering the company and what it actually is doing and the money that it has.
47.
Yeah. Is that what it's at right now? Sorry, I'm really...
47.8 million common shares.
Okay, well, there you go. So
still...
That is a relatively low share count considering what the company's doing in the sector it's in. And it won't necessarily, considering the business that it's doing, probably have to do in the terms of raises, at least anything crazy. I think it's just it's powering itself at this point. Speaking of which, Vishal was talking about the charts and indicating there's a possibility that it could slide down to $1. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think it might range at that smaller range.
Again. Yeah.
Awesome. And that is dependent, of course, on the way the markets react. I think if the markets go positive, which is, for me, I still doubt that, but I mean I'm just a chicken little. If the markets go positive, it is indefinitely in a position where it could actually do a breakout. However, if they don't and remain relatively flat, it will, I think, contain this range. The only way I think that it's actually going to slip down to the $1 support level is if the markets go to shit. And that'll just be everybody across the board losing money. I think this company is as solid as it could, not as it could come, but it's a good solid look for what they're doing. So, in terms of money, because of the way the markets are, not because of the way this company is, I'm probably going to drop in 3,500. And then I want to wait to see how the markets perform in the next 3 months. I won't say that I'll wait 3 months, but I want to see how they play out in the next 3 months. If they begin to build a little momentum to the positive side, I'll be dipping further into this company because I think it has great growth potential and also revenue generation.
3,500 bones, 7,500 bones for Chris, because that's what Galen always puts down for Chris when he's not here.
He loves it.
And Michelle?
Yeah, I'm looking something similar to Galen there. I'm thinking 3K for this one, and my analysis is pretty much similar to Galen there. I think I love the company, by the way. I love the tech. I love the long-term implication and growth here, and basically, it seems like it's the right company at the right time, pretty much. With the BioCloud and all the other, obviously, these building technology there too. But yeah, the markets right now, that's just holding me back right now because the markets could still take another dump here. And what I would be doing is I'd be a bit more strategic here in my entry. I wouldn't be entering just now with my 3K. What I would be doing is, again, just wait for that break above $2. Sure, I'm missing out maybe on 40 cents. To me, that's okay because this is going to be a long-term hold anyways, and just longer term, once we get back above $2, that basically nullifies or neutralizes this downside breakout. So I'm a happy camper, and basically I can get in rather than getting in now and just hoping we don't break down and head down to $1. Saying that if we don't break above $2 and we do break down, maybe we don't hit that $1 zone, but if we do push below, there's actually quite a lot of buyers around here at $1.40 we should mention because it's huge wick. But if we do get a move lower than $1.50, that would also entice me to get in. And if that happens, I might even go 5K if we do get a move below $1.40 or closer to $1, because I think the company would be greatly valued around that price zone, and we're pretty close to basically the $1 zone and this support zone. And I don't think the stock should be anywhere near that zone. So that's the way I would approach it. Wait for that break above $2 to go into 3K, or if we don't get that and we do see a move lower, I would be looking to get in much more than 3K, a 5K allocation anywhere under $1.50.
Very good. Not too shabby. It is Kontrol Technologies. I like that business. Converting, retrofitting, no shortage of buildings that need it. That's
Exactly.
damn sure.
Total infrastructure play.
They're located in Vaughan. They could probably just make all the money they need right in their own neighborhood, quite frankly. It's KNR on the NEO exchange. Paul Gezzi is the CEO, and we've been talking about Kontrol Technologies. We cannot guarantee anything that the fellows have said here. Unfortunately, they would like to predict the future, but they can't. We also request that you do your own, or insist that you do your own research and homework, please. And no previous results guarantee future performance. That's it. Kontrol Technologies for Galen, who's right upstairs. What are you doing up there? You live in the basement.
Yeah, well,
Jeez.
today I wanted to be in the sunshine.
What'd you get, a raise?
Yeah.
Michelle in the rich guy section, as always, and then Chris, who'll be back shortly. He's out today, obviously. We'll see you on the next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.
Bye.